What's going on, everyone? We're really excited about today going into image targets. My name is Rob McCarty. I'm one of the co-founders of Illust, an augmented reality creator studio, and we're going to be doing another workshop around our AR studio. So this is a program that we've been running uh, in lead up to. We're going to be doing an art exhibition during the South by Southwest uh, festivities that happen in Austin, Texas. And so we're going to be essentially trying to upskill and kind of train and focus on education around uh, around AR and around producing stories in the world, so that we can present some of the more immersive and high fidelity experiences possible when people activate them on site. So yeah, this one, just quick background on who I am. Um, so I'm one of the co-founders of Illust. We've been building an augmented reality creator studio. Basically the world is a canvas. You can anchor stories, videos. You can be able to anchor art pieces, music, the whole nine yards to any location in the world. And so we've been working on this now for about going on 6 years in February. So actually 6 years, February 27th. But yeah, we've had the opportunity to work with all kinds of partners and collaborators and brands and musicians and influencers, the whole nine yards, along our journey. And so, yeah, part of this is about kind of exploring what's possible with the technology. And the other part of this is also creating new opportunities for us as artists. Um, so today I want to go into image targets. Um, I know it's something that comes up quite a bit. Um, an image target is separate from world tracking, where we use GPS coordinates. Where an image target, you're essentially creating uh, instead of having GPS be the thing that initiates the AR experience, we're using an actual physical object or something that exists in the world, where kind of like when you scan a QR code, it pulls up a website. You're scanning a physical item and it pulls up the AR experience. So let's keep putting this video back again. So with image targets, it goes by a couple of different names. So you can and we'll use them interchangeably, but the actual like official name is natural feature tracking. But in 2021, a different type of NFT kind of took over that naming convention. So we're not calling it natural feature tracking because NFTs are really synonymous with digital art now. But that's like really what's happening, is that what we're doing is we're using computer vision to essentially detect uh, any sort of contrast or feature point to then like create a unique ID for it. So think of it like a visual fingerprint. So when you take a photo, different lighting, different positioning, different vantage points, all of that creates a different type of contrast, so that the computer vision can pick up and say, "Oh, this is a monument that was uploaded to our system, or this was a logo, or this was whatever it is that what you want to target." Um, but yeah, we also use the naming convention marker tracking because it basically is defining whatever the marker is. It doesn't have to be an image; it could just be a marker, and then we're tracking using AR. So if you see it in the studio, marker tracking is the terminology we use. But again, image targets, natural feature tracking, they're all different ways of saying the same thing. So image targets, super fun. This is where you can kind of hijack things, and you can do some like more like renegade artwork. The first one that comes to mind is this activation that was done by Burger King, where if you scanned any McDonald's advertisement and the golden arches were the image target, and so if you scanned the golden arches, it would basically make it catch on fire. Um, and got a lot of press, and Ad Week was just really kind of a nice premonition of ways to, involve AR and storytelling. But the thing that I really like about marker tracking is that out of all of the formats for AR, I think it's the easiest for folks to be able to comprehend. Well, especially when you're like presenting this or pitching this to a partner. So there's a lot of different ways to use marker tracking. So for these are just a list. This is not an exhaustive list, but to kind of get your thoughts going around what you can do with marker tracking, these are some of the following. So connected packaging. So basically transforming boxes, labels, cups into its own experience. I don't know if you remember like I think it was like 17 crimes or 29 crimes. That was like one of the first AR activations that really went viral. But basically you scan the label of this wine bottle and then you'd have these characters come to life on the bottle. And I think that even like my folks downloaded the application and tried it for themselves. So I like actually transcended so many different folks that wouldn't necessarily be jumping into immersive technology and doing AR. So um but yeah, then we can kind of go into doing storefront murals or like displays. Um Something that I've just thought about quite a bit but never really got into, but was thinking that would be really cool to do, especially around the holidays, doing like Halloween inspired decorations, Christmas inspired decorations. Yeah, just running through the different holidays where you could just transition out on your storefront, different experiences that could be had, and I think that could work really well. Uh, then there's definitely product visualizations. Being able to, bring scanning like especially like in a conference kind of setting where you could scan like a handout or even like a something that they have printed out, and then it provides you with education and facts. I've seen this with like business cards as well at a conference where you scan the business card comes to life. Um, then also was thinking like, for print and magazines, think like the Harry Potter style, was it the Daily Prophet, where you'd have like the flat text, but then you had videos that were playing within. And then billboards, murals, merchandise. I can go on and on, but yeah, it's a lot of different things you can do. Here's an example from that. So, uh, but yeah, so as far as thinking about uh, the process for getting your image targets set up, there's really five things to go through. It's quite simple. So first, what we want to do is actually figure out what do we want to track, um, most critical part, and then thinking about you know does it is it a good is it a good seed, is it a good target, um, because again, it needs some sort of contrast. So if you have something that's completely green, the phone's not going to be able to, or the computer vision is not going to be able to pick up on something unless there's like say order. So yeah, Harry Potter is definitely ahead of its time. Uh, and yeah, and then the next step would be to send us the photos that you want to use for the image target. We'll generate a code. And then the next step is for you to set up the AR scene in the studio. And then the next one after that is generating the QR code and doing your testing. And then last but not least is on-site deployment. So, uh, yeah, what do we want to augment? So first we want to figure out, we want to capture a variety of different photos. Um, and not all markers are good. So usually what we like to do is we like to get a couple of different vantage points for a specific target. So we might go pretty close to, so if this is like a mural activation, for example, we might go pretty close, capture a photo, and then if it's hard to focus with the phone, just kind of like a rule of thumb, if it's hard to focus within the phone to take a photo, then it's probably not going to be a good image target because your phone has to think about it. So I'd recommend kind of go into a vantage point where do you want people to be experiencing the image target? And then essentially take the photos from there. It is pretty forgiving in terms of like angles, because even if you kind of get even to like a 45-degree angle viewing something. So let's just use this example that I have here where we have this artist created this piece. Uh, say, say you're say you're on the right hand side of this cone and on the sidewalk. The compute like it's pretty decent enough where it could actually pick it up from an angle. If you walk to the wall, it wouldn't, because it wouldn't be able to get the whole picture in frame. But even where this cone is, you would be able to get a decent shot of the AR effect working. So, but yeah, I'd also just recommend keeping the photo or the target itself lightweight. That will just help improve the processing. So 2 MB or under for the target is recommended. So today we're going to go through an example. Shout out to Mo, goes by Lightbrush. Super, super talented artist, doing some work with like Android Jones and festivals. But he created this playing card example called Dancing Dharma. And he created it in our studio. It's really cool. But so this is what he uses the target, and this makes an excellent target. There's so much contrast. There's a bunch of different colors. It's just yeah, it'll really easily get picked up. Um, but yeah, so moving on, what makes a good image target? As I mentioned, good contrast is good. Uh, light versus dark, a lot of unique detail, irregular shapes and textures. Um, and yeah, like bad image targets. Uh, yeah, like brick is really tough. You want to have some variation. But I feel like I've kind of beat up this point quite a bit. Um, and so yeah, the next step is that you'll when you log into the studio, you'll go to the specific editor mode where it says marker tracking, and where it says submit marker tracker, we'll have and basically click that button and it'll generate an email. So just upload the targets that you want to use, and then we'll be able to send back to you what the best target is for the experience, along with the code. And this is the code that you're going to use. And so that's all you need to do is just drop in that code, at least to set up the target. So instead of, again, using the geofence component, you're just dropping in, and you're going to be using this target to be the way to do the tracking. Uh, and then you also have the opportunity to upload an image of what you want people to be looking for. So yeah, that's where it's located in the studio. We are going to work to try and make this a self-serve process, so you don't have to keep sending us emails. We don't mind. It's really cool. We try and get back to you within 24 hours. But yeah, it's that's kind of where we're at. Um, so yeah, next up, I'm just kind of sharing where. So once you've actually uploaded the code that you for the target, now it's time for you actually to create your AR scene. So we're going to be using the same kind of interface that we've used for world tracking, but in that way, what we're actually doing is we're uploading the scene first, and then next we'll go into the actual like configuration of tightening up the scene. But you'll upload the scene into our where you normally upload it, where we have like image, video, 3D model, streaming texture, and text message. All of those can work just fine in the marker tracked environment. So it's we're just focusing on um, the only things that's changing is we're not using GPS, we're using a physical object. So yeah, that's where we go. And so once you click save, make sure you do the normal parts where you give it a name for the scene and give it that URL. But yeah, so we just uploaded this video that we want to then be tied to the playing card. And now we're going to move over to the next part of this. So with the marker tracking, we have controls that creates basically the context of, you have your marker that is right here on the left-hand side, which is it's the static playing card. And then we have this video that was created. So just like we have in world transforms, we have in marker tracking transforms. So it's position, rotation, and scale. So this is where get pretty clever, especially if you have, say, for example, like a 3D model. This is where you can kind of have it pull up on like a display or a card. So we've done this in the past where we had it was a Porsche. It was a really unique art piece that basically was like a tabletop display that was like a miniature for these car owners that you could just pull up on your desk, and so you can kind of see this nice little card. And yeah, so you have the ability to kind of decide where you want in relationship to the marker for the AR piece to reside. When it's really flat, that's what we recommend for like just videos or murals, because this is a 2D piece, it's not a 3D experience. So it's just kind of like pancaked on there. But for things that are more immersive, um, flipping the rotation is pretty good, because then you can actually have it seem like it's coming out. Um, and yeah, the like the base position is 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 flat against the marker. So just some perspective there. But yeah, moving on. Um, so a couple things here. So this is actually, this video is going to share with you the way that the image target, like what you're looking for. This is how it'll pull up in our AR scene. So you have this image that comes up, and it's like, look for this, and then now it's found it, and now it's rendering it. And so when I scroll up and down, you'll see that's pretty static to the target. And then yeah, it just kind of reappears again. So that's basically this example. Oh, this video didn't play, but anyways, yeah. So some things to consider when testing. So with anything, everything kind of takes some patience. Um, the size of the target does affect the tracking and stability. So usually larger targets are more stable, because your phone's not having to look for like the object. So if you have basically, if your phone doesn't have to try and uh, like correct the lens, like when you pull it out, then it's probably like based upon where you're at and where your target is probably going to be a good distance. But yeah, try and go for flat, well lit, and non-reflective surfaces. Reflections kind of mess with the computer vision. It's like matted experiences are great. And yeah, AR is not a fan of like wrinkles or like moving um or glare. Definitely recommends like there is some decent support, or so say for example, if it's a mural, say it starts to get a little it gets weathered over time, and maybe there's some paint that goes on it, or someone does a little graffiti over the mural or something in the side. It's not going to destroy the marker. Like the computer vision is the tolerance is pretty forgiving with the overall idea. So yeah, you don't have to worry too much about that. But where it could be a problem is if, say, half of the mural disappears. Then okay, then you'll just need to snap a new photo of it and then feed it into the system. And you wouldn't have to really change anything else if you took the photo from the same distance in place. But yeah, like most tracking works when it's head on. Like I'll show you an example of a mural that we did in over in the Hollywood Walk of the Stars. In the vantage point, we were actually like the experience still rendered from across the street at a 45-degree angle. So pretty darn good. But that being said, that's like pushing it to its limits. Yep. Yeah. Um, and let's see here. As we continue on here. Okay. Yeah, then basically to generate a preview for your image target experience is the same way that you generate your preview for a world tracked experience, except when you turn on the marker tracking button, um, you'll see that there's a marker tracking tab right here. And you just click this button that says marker tracking. Um, yeah, right there. And you'll get a QR code. So that's basically the for the preview display, that's how you do it. But highly recommend that you create a dynamic link for your experience. And the reason why dynamic links are really great for image targets specifically is because oftentimes you're printing out the QR code that might live on the object indefinitely. So, for example, we worked with a partner who on the wall, they plastered in the QR code. So you want to make sure that you have with that QR code was a dynamic link. So that way the creator at any point in time could change out the URL, especially if they want to update the artwork or if they had some new ideas of how they want to activate the wall, they could do that. So just a pro tip to use a dynamic link for anything that's physical or printed. But yeah, that's on that. Uh, for P22 is the mountain lion with the National Wildlife Federation, and then we also, because we were able to, again, you can kind of do these like renegade activations. We were able to give it a star on the Hollywood Walk, even though we didn't get permission from the city at least to give them a star. We used the art to do it. um, and so this was the artist LA Hope Dealer who did this beautiful mural. Um, but yeah, it got a lot of publicity. It's still there. It's been there for the last couple of years now. But yeah, we basically made it kind of shatter and the lion poke its head out and start turn and all of that. So uh but but yeah, so that's at least on I mean really kind of a full layout of how to set up image targets in our studio. Um, and so, you know, moving forward, I mean, most of you all are already studio creators, so but we're doing a for new creators, it's $1 for the first month of access to our AR studio for that. And then we have like a whole publishing guide to get you started. And then as far as homework, we're gonna make an image target. So uh, we already kind of got through this. So just send us over whatever the image or PNG is for your image target. And then craft the scene in the studio, activate the marker and take a screenshot of it and post it in school. So yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell, at least for the image target marker tracking class today. But I want to open it up for questions now that we're about 30 minutes in. So yeah, Rami, I see that you have your hand up.
Hey, real quick question. Thank you for doing this because this is right up my alley with the body of work that I've been doing. My quick question, because I'm seeing this example right in front of us. That was awesome. In terms of like the immersive, so I understand. So for example, if the camera is like let's say I have something coming out that's like above the flat image, is it set up where if the camera pans too far away from the art that it's activating, it's going to disappear? Does that make sense? Is that I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to make it like super immersive where I, I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that, it activates something super dynamic above and beyond the image itself, but then if you accidentally pan away from that image, if it'll just kind of go away. Yeah, I don't know if I'm making sense, but
I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. So and correct me if I'm wrong. So the idea would be that if if you scan the target, the experience renders, and then you lose tracking of whatever the object is, will you lose the experience if your phone's not pointed up,
Right. If someone gets like super like, whoa, this is crazy and starts panning away and then all of a sudden,
walking away?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, so there's yeah, so the short answer is yes, it'll disappear.
Oh,
Um, if it is a video, it'll then play back. So if you lose, say if it's a video it's playing through and then you lose tracking and then you play it back, then it'll go back to the spot that it was paused at, versus
okay.
starting on from the beginning.
Okay.
But there's yeah, there is a way, there will be a way for us to be able to do where it gets like auto placed, but then you start without getting too complex, you'd have to involve slam libraries in there basically for world tracking. So you would like
Oh, got it.
it would basically detect the anchor, detect the slam model, drop it at the place, and then but with anything that is running in the browser, it isn't it is it's a pretty good approximation, but it's not absolutely perfect by way of tracking. Sometimes it's a little movie or a little shaky,
Oh,
uh,
totally. Yeah.
and that just is really a function of running complex calculations in the browser
Right.
with a mobile device. Um, but yeah,
All right, cool. Thanks for that.
thanks, Rami. Yeah, first, Jennifer.
Hey, I was just going to ask you a question about dynamic links. Not sure I caught that. What
Yeah,
was that?
yeah, for sure. So a dynamic link is it's essentially like think of it like a placeholder, where um where basically or like say if you like have your email forwarding, like say you like yeah, you move to a new address and you let the post office know that you're going to a new address and you just start forwarding the mail to a new address.
Yeah.
It's basically that, but for websites.
Oh, okay.
So basically you you're telling the um the QR code is just going to forward it. The QR code is going to forward it to wherever it needs to, and you can define what website you want to forward to at any point in time. But the QR code itself is going to this like this container website that you can configure to forward to any website you want to. And so the idea there is like, say day one you wanted to go to illust, and so the QR code, you're going to configure the dynamic link, which will be, some placeholder name, which, Bitly does this pretty well. Um, but you would basically say, okay, forwarding link, go to illust, and then say you want to, a week down the road, you're like, you know what, I want this to go to my portfolio site. Then you'd enter your portfolio site into the dynamic link, and then it would change. But the base URL does not change at any point in time. So that's why you print out a QR code. It's for that base URL, which is all that base URL is just a forwarding address.
Okay. Okay. Do you have to go to a specific company that?
There's certain companies that do it. I think there's a couple free services out there. Bitly's just been the easiest for us,
Okay.
but yeah, it used to be we used to be able to set these up in our Google in our Firebase for basically our software environment, but Google did away with that, sadly. So but Bitly's been pretty strong in that domain.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Dorothy.
I think antibodies first.
Oh, antibody. And you're on mute there, antibody, if you're yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I had just couple questions.
Cool.
Because the image tracking's been a super fun thing to work out. But I had like some experiments I was trying to do to see how I get it to work. But one of the ones that I was really liking, I like how you went into the cards because there was been a couple of people approaching me about those. And one thing that I saw that was really cool, someone showed me an example of, and I was wondering if there's any way to pull it off in illust, was there was a card that had a like it looked to me like a material that it had on it that supported like depth or parallaxing. And so if you move the card, you were able to see like inside of it, but it didn't look to me like an actual 3D. I don't think it was actually, because when you went sideways, there was nothing behind it. There's no actual 3D object. It was a flat image. And so it looked like Jitsi
Yeah.
was moving it. Yeah, you could see all around the character and get a 3D view of him.
So yeah, yes. So there would be like basically you'd set up like an occluder, and then you'd like have it drop below, and then the object, uh, the object would basically look like it's what you're saying is you like kind of want to have it so that it looks like the object is inside of the card, even though you look on the other side, it's like there's nothing there. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a cool one. And like I was thinking, because I was looking through the settings and I saw the video occlusion. So I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, because that's kind of where I was thinking that could happen from. But yeah, no, would love to get deeper into that. And so I have one other thing. I don't want to be too long. But do you have any let me see here. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. Um, is there any way to have the object that you're tracking go in front of the activation? Or is it more so figuring out ways to mask or create the 3D object so where it is looks like it's just cut right through to almost look like it's in front of it? Um, I just wanted to know if there is any best practices for that, because I saw that example for the mural where it was like sections of the activation weren't even there, but it looked like to me that center part where it was activated, it would look like a little cut through it. That was either a video or 3D animation. I just was wondering, like, yeah, what's the best practices to like incorporate the actual image so that it looks like it's in front of it, or that you can actually see it in some way, like sections of it are only activated.
Right. Yeah. So, um, with like, were you referencing the mountain lion mural?
It was another one. It was
Okay.
the one right after that, I believe, and it was like it looked like it was painted. It was really cool. It had all these like geometric patterns with the painting, but it was only like a slither of it that was activated, and the rest of the mural was like, you could see it still.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, so that one actually had that was actually a .mp4. It was like it was the picture of the man that that had like the geometric kind of waviness one. Uh that one was a video that was produced and then targeted onto the mural. So it was actually it was a picture of the mural as it looked, and then just cropped into the video in After Effects with the waviness in it. And that gave it that impression. Um,
Awesome. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it seems like a lot of those things. It's just creative ways of how you create your MP4. Yeah. So I that's really good to know. Yeah. Thank you so much.
yeah, no worries. Yeah, Dorothy.
Okay, yeah, I think I have a two-in-one question, sort of. Um, so, okay, so I would like to create, animation, AR animations for print. So let's say I make a print of one of my artworks, and then create the animation in AR, and then you scan, like you point your phone at the picture, and then you get the animation showing up, right? Now, let's say I have not done the print yet, but then I just upload the image because it's a digital file anyways from the beginning. So I just upload that digital file and then that would be the target image.
Yep.
Would that work?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. So then, second question. So you said about the shiny surfaces and so on. So like so on the site that I would create my prints from, you can choose different materials, and then some of them are acrylic, and it could be with a framed, a frame with glass, whatever in front, and so on. So those options should not be with AR, then, correct? Like it should only be the ones that are like actual matte surfaces. Do you think?
It really comes down to just testing it out. Like those are the best practices that were shared earlier, but they're not exhaustive. I would say like there's certain materials that like we did not think were going to track, and they did track, and there's certain things that were like, yeah, this is definitely going to track, and it didn't track. So it really comes down to like trial and error with that one. So that's why I recommend, like, if you have a couple of different pictures or
I just have one with glass and one with acrylic at home, so I could just try and maybe upload those and see if it works for me. And then, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. That's my question for now. Thank you.
No worries. Anisha. Looks like you're on mute there if you're trying to talk.
Oh, sorry. I think my I don't know. There was a glitch here, but anyways, that was that was all I had. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dorothy. Yeah, Anisha, I think you're on mute if you're going. See your hand still up. No worries if you can't speak. But yeah, any other last kind of questions or anything before we conclude the session? Nice.
Hey, Rob, I just have one question. This is Lou's significant. So,
Hi, Liz. Yeah.
yeah, just a question. I might have missed it. So, do we just point at the object or say the mural, or do we need the QR code or the dynamic link all the time?
Yeah, so you will need a QR code. Sorry, getting some good feedback. You will need the QR code at any time to be able to activate the experience. The emote, like a built into Apple or Android, there would have to be some sort of communication with Apple directly or Android directly to give them these markers, which they don't quite support at this point. But I don't know. I do imagine in the future this will be something that will be pretty turnkey. But for now, you do need a QR code to direct you to the web browser where all this is hosted on, that activates the experience.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. I see you're back in the mix, Anisha, if you want to ask your question.
Yeah, so my question, I guess you kind of just answered it kind of with her questions, but I was curious about how you protect your code, I guess, from like hijackers. I mean, it's kind of cool too. I'm kind of into that. And again, I was also wondering, my second question was also like how this works in a moving target. Like, I don't know if you played Sims before or any other game where there's like a bar over someone's head. Can you like do that? Those are my two questions.
So yeah, I guess as far as the like protecting against certain targets, there's no anything you could take a picture of can become a target. So that is, so there's really no rules when it comes to what you want to make a target. Now, if you want to do copyrighted work, I think that lands on you. I know an artist who at the Serpentine Gallery in the UK, he went in and he created image targets of a lot of their classical works, and then he got kicked out and had a lifetime ban put on him. which yeah, it's kind of badass. But at the same time, like some people take it really seriously. And it is a gray zone.
Is
Where
overlay the other like um marker, like essentially like graffitiing someone else's mark, if that makes sense. Does it work like that?
yeah, you can't graffiti someone else's, like if you've already made yours. Everyone has their own uh like their own AR scene. We haven't created a concept where it's like a
Collective.
collective AR scene, yeah, where you're like adding to someone else's. But it is a nice feature.
And then moving target.
Oh, moving target. Yeah. You could do that until within a certain range, but you'd probably want to have that be you'd probably want to use our face tracking system for that one.
And then, sorry. And then when you said with the QR code, so like let's say it was like a broadcasting, like you can't access that like mass broadcast. I don't know if that makes sense.
We've definitely had it. We've had image targets where the QR code was on screen. And like we did that at the Odeon Roads Amphitheater in Greece, and that was the image target itself was actually the structural brick of the Acropolis. That was a pretty cool way of doing it. And that was also nighttime, and it was also brick, which is like two no-nos, but we're still able to make it work. But yeah, so as far as the like distribution of it, live events are great. Um, we've seen people use it for in like in some of their like like in a religious context where they had like a bunch of people in a church use it for like some like visualizations. We've had people use it in music festivals on screen. So broadcast wouldn't be any different if you want to have it presented through like a movie or within a, a live chat.
And then last question, I'm sorry. But
You're
what's
good.
like with the Meta glasses, do they scan QR codes or no? If you don't have like the VR headset or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So the Orion product isn't out. It isn't out quite yet. Which would be more of their like AR glasses. The Meta Ray Bans, and then like the Ray Ban display glasses, uh, are only they're not doing any form of tracking. It's more of like akin to like a Google Glass with an AI agent. Um, but where they're going with the Orion project will be to have tracking that would be inclusive of uh, image targets, space targets, body tracking, floor tracking, about as robust as you can get. But as off the shelf right now, not so much.
Cool, thank you.
Cool, and I see you. Yeah, exactly, Tarsila. That's for sure. Yeah, Luz, did you have one more question? I still see your hands up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Well, again, I highly recommend like play around with this one, like test it out, try and make some mistakes and just learn from it, because it is a really compelling, you know, part of the mix, the AR creator toolbox, that you can deploy. And there's also a lot of like potential commercial opportunities using this type of format too, which is something that is yeah, something to consider. So with that being said, I really appreciate y'all's time today, and this will be recorded and uploaded to school a little bit later today. Tarsila, last comment question before we jump.
Sorry about that. You guys will have more meetings about these New Balance Force, like to talk about better about that, or just this one?
Yeah. As far as we'll be posting a little bit more in the school channel about balanced forces in Austin, Texas. But yeah, we've just been trying to work with the organization, and it's been a little bit slower than we want it to be. So we haven't had anything official, but there is definitely a world where we should be making some announcements by the end of this week officially, so we can start actually publishing. But yeah, I appreciate you all, and yes, thanks for your patience with this one. Definitely would have wanted to have it go live earlier, but is what it is. So with that being said, thank you all so much for joining today's workshop. Again, my name is Rob McCarty from Illust, and as always, the world is yours. Have a good one, y'all.
Boom,